After almost 3 weeks of vacation, I'm back with our weekly summary. So let's summarize the week. 18 different all-time highs. We have President Trump and Putin meeting in Alaska. We got the CPI, we got the PPI, we got a lot of news. Let's dive in. So hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Micha, and on this channel we talk about the stock market on a weekly basis. And yes, I can see now the last video was 2 weeks ago, 27th of July. So let's dive in. Nothing that you see here on this channel is not financial advice. It's only education and purpose only. And if you're not subscribed yet, you're not part of the 7.59K subscribers, so please do. And by that, you will not only get notified on new things that are happening, but also stay updated. This is how the major averages ended the week. We see the Russell up 3%, Dow up 1.7%, and the Nasdaq up 0.5%. So let's provide a quick explanation. The market right now is starting to come to senses that the Fed is going to lower rates. How do I know that from this table? Because the Russell will be the major beneficiary of lower rates. It means that smaller companies will be able to operate in an easier manner. That's why you see Russell up 3%. Why did the Dow Jones go up 1.7%? Because on Thursday and Friday, major hedge funds, including Berkshire Hathaway and others, published their filings to the SEC. And on their filings, they published that they acquired, and we'll see that in the news, huge stakes in United Health. United Health, a clear component of the Dow Jones, which provided an all-time high for the Dow Jones. Nasdaq up only 0.4% for the week, meaning that the Magnificent Seven were not the one moving the needle this week. This is how you can, from one chart, understand a lot of things that happened during the week. And here we see the Magnificent Seven, or actually the Great, because we see Broadcom here as well. Amazon, best performer, up 3.7% for the week. Meta up 2%, Google up 1.2%. On the flip side, we see Nvidia and Microsoft correcting 1.2% and 0.3%. Between them. Major averages, major indices, this is how they look like. Healthcare up 4.6%, again, United Health. Communication up 3.5%. On the flip side, we see utilities down 0.65%. Crypto market, not something interesting except Ethereum, which is right now getting a lot of popularity. Several different companies have put a goal to acquire as much Ethereum as possible, and that, of course, drives prices up. So it's up 3.8% per the week. Bitcoin getting kind of a relaxed mode, down 1% for the week. Huge crash, down 1%. That's crash. And we can see materials, gold, between gold and silver, you can see gold down 0.4%, silver up 0.4%, crude down 0.8%, and natural gas down 2% for the week. That automatically brings us to the news of the week. 18 new all-time highs only during 2025. This is a market that cannot be stopped until it will. But currently it cannot be stopped, so congratulations to anyone that held during the corrections of February through April. This is the CPI and PPI, which came hotter than expected, at least the PPI. You can see the blue line here going up. Both are black, which is the CPI, the core CPI, and the PPI going up for the month. Is this something that you should worry because of tariffs? No one really knows because it's one data point, but it does put things in pause to evaluate where we're going with the tariffs. Novo Nordisk on Friday gets an approval for liver disease using Wegovy, the same sugar, let's call it, it's a weight, everyone knows it as a weight loss, right? It's the Ozempic kind of flavor. But right now it provides more and more, call it solutions. One of them is for liver disease. Trump and Putin met in Alaska on Friday during the day. Nothing really to write home about, except the fact that Putin is back in the main stage where he wasn't in the last few years. Is it good? Is it bad? Depending on the outcome. Sunrun, Enphase, First Solar, SolarEdge, all the solar projects right now apparently can qualify for federal tax credits. This, of course, drives the stocks higher. Why? Because it provides them the liquidity that they need and, of course, the credits that they want. This is coming from the U.S. Treasury Department. Louisiana Attorney General is suing Roblox. We saw the stock down because of that. The reason they're accusing them is the gaming platform is enabling child exploitations, which, of course, if they're correct, that's a big problem. Carrie Wheeler, CEO of Opendoor, is stepping down. I'm not sure that there's an interim leader, but they're looking for a CEO that can drive Opendoor, an online, let's call it commerce site for real estate, a competitor to Zillow. We talked about United Health. So several hedge funds are going on a shopping spree mainly for United Health. It's Warren Buffett, it's Dogen Cox, it's David Pepper, it's Renaissance, it's Michael Burry, and it's Saudi Arabia Public Investment, probably a lot more. Why am I mentioning that? Is because United Health stock is down 55% from its all-time high. Huge decline. A lot of issues there, DOJ and others. But these big money funds believe that the worst is behind them. Are they right? Are they wrong? We don't really know. What we do know is that they're buying, and people that just follow them blindly bought on Friday as well. Trump administration is discussing taking a stake in Intel. How are they going to fund taking the stakes? From the CHIP Act and from the 15% they're going to take from AMD and NVIDIA for selling chips to China. We're going to talk about that later. That, of course, drove Intel's stock up, and maybe that will be the catalyst for Intel to start moving in the right direction, at least for Intel shareholders. I'm not one of their shareholders, but I know a lot of them, and they really, really want the stock to start going up. Walmart is going to give their employees 10% discount on nearly all groceries. Amazon is going to provide us, the customers, one-day shipping, or actually same-day shipping on groceries. Oklo is getting 3 new contracts from the energy program. Reuters is reporting that the Chinese are accusing U.S. It's a journalist investigation. No one really knows, but they're reporting that the chips that were provided for China had tracking surveillance capabilities in them, so the U.S. would know where the chips are going. Interesting. Standard Chartered believes that Ethereum will end the year at 7,500 and will end 2028 at 25,000. That's almost 5 times more than it is right now. Actually, 6 times more than it is right now. I'm okay with that. I don't have any issue with it going to 25,000. Strategy keeps acquiring Bitcoin. Bitmine keeps acquiring Ethereum. Micron raises their outlooks for the next quarter, saying that they have strong sales. Cannabis stocks, Tilray, CGC, Sundial, and MSOS, the ETF, are seeing some kind of traction after Trump administration is weighing maybe reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug, which will provide these companies a bit of fresh air after waiting 4 years for Biden to do that and not getting that through the Biden administration. Zim stock might see itself going private when their CEO and another investor would like to give a 28% premium for the stock in order to bring it private. NVIDIA and AMD I talked about is going to pay probably 15% share of their revenue, at least from selling H20 and other chips to China. This will provide America the ability, of course, to buy a stake in Intel. And last but not least, both Anthropic and OpenAI are knocking on the door of Google saying, if you're going to sell Chrome, sell it to us. Why are they going to sell Chrome? Because monopoly charges, DOJ, and all that. Next week, very, very interesting week. Not because of the earnings. As you can see, we're at the kind of latter part of earnings. We got Palo Alto on Monday. We want to hear about their acquisition of CyberArk. We'll hear on Tuesday from Home Depot, Toll Brothers. On Wednesday, we will hear from Target, Estee Lauder, Zim, which we mentioned earlier. And on Thursday, we will hear from Walmart, Zoom, Workday, and others. The main thing during the week is not all these. It's actually Jackson Hole in Wyoming. Jackson Hole in Wyoming hosts every year the central bank's symposium. In this symposium, they're going to talk about their monetary stance for the next year, how they see the challenges, where they see the challenges. They're going to talk a lot about tariffs. They're going to talk about the different wars that still exist in the world. They're going to talk about their policies. After that, on Friday, Jerome Powell is going to stand and talk at 10 a.m. Eastern, and he's going to provide us the summary of everything that was talked there. Are they going to talk about lowering rates? Probably yes. Are they going to put the framework for lowering rates? I hope so. This usually is a speech that can drive markets in a very volatile way, so be careful for that. And last but not least, the S&P 500, as we usually look at it, represented by Japanese candlesticks. And the two lines that you see right now are the basic lines you need to know. The first line, which is a support line that goes all the way from 23rd of May, the low of 57.60, bounces over 59.40 and bounces again through 62.17. If you ask yourself, how was I able to catch these specific candles? These are called support, okay? Because most of the trading is being done through computers, everything is pre-programmed, and the computers are buying and selling, which provide a lot of value understanding technical analysis, okay? Once you understand technical analysis, you can better identify where is your risk and where is your potential. For example, if the S&P 500 might correct all the way to 63.70, that might not be an issue because it might bounce again. It does not mean that I know it will bounce. It just means that if it doesn't bounce, Houston, we have a problem. If it doesn't bounce, it might go down all the way to 61.47, maybe stop in the middle at around 6,200 because it's a rounded number. This is how I look at the trading week, and I know exactly where are my borders, where are my limits, and then I know not to be super dramatic if something happens because I go back to the chart and say, okay, did I break something or not? So, like I said, 63.70 might be an area of interest, and beyond that, we keep going up on the S&P, so we can't complain. That was the weekend charts, the week summary, and we're going to keep talking next week. Same time, same place. Till next time. Don't forget to like this video, and also you can comment below. Bye-bye.